Welcome to Armchair Italy. We help you discover Italy before you experience it. Planning a trip to Bel Paese? You're in the right place. This is the In Situ segment, your deep dive into the stunning art, culture, and history of Italy. Today we are heading straight to the heart of Florence to uncover the secrets behind the Brancacci Chapel. Let's get into it. Brancacci Chapel at Santa Maria del Carmen in Florence, across the river in beautiful Otranto. Stepping into the Brancacci Chapel inside Florence's Santa Maria del Carmen is like walking directly into a time machine or a comic book written by the founding fathers of the Renaissance. This small, glowing corner of an otherwise austere church is nicknamed the Sistine Chapel of the early Renaissance, and for good reason. It is a jaw-dropping masterclass in visual storytelling, perspective, and pure artistic drama. The chapel is famous for its breathtaking fresco cycle commissioned by wealthy silk merchant Felice Brancacci in the 1420s. The walls showcase a legendary tag team match between two painters named Tommaso, the older, elegant master Masolino, and his revolutionary young pupil Masaccio. Decades later, Filippino Lippi stepped in to finish the job after the original duo left the project. The contrast between the artists is where, in my opinion, the fun begins. Masolino's style is polite, pretty, and traditional. Masaccio, who I favor, on the other hand, was the ultimate Renaissance rebel. He threw out all the old rules, weaponized light and shadow, in Italian it's called Chiaroscuro, and gave his figures raw, heavy, human emotion, and when you see it, it will blow your mind. The hits, in terms of the drama on the walls, tell the gritty, dramatic life story of St. Peter mixed with a few iconic cameos. First, the Expulsion from the Garden of Eden by Masaccio. This is the crown jewel of the chapel. Forget serene biblical figures. Masaccio paints Adam and Eve in absolute, agonizing despair. Adam buries his face in his hands in deep shame while Eve screams with visceral grief, her body contorted by regret. It was so shockingly realistic for its time that centuries later they actually painted fig leaves over them out of modesty, which have since been cleaned away. Then there's The Temptation by Masolino. Right across from the Expulsion, Masolino paints the same couple before the fall. They look like elegant, polite court royals gently chatting next to a tree. The contrast perfectly highlights Masaccio's revolutionary realism versus Masolino's classic grace. The Tribute Money by Masaccio. This is the 15th century cinematic masterpiece on a single wall. It uses a continuous narrative to tell three parts of a story at once. In the center, Jesus and a short-cloaked tax collector argue about money. Jesus tells Peter to go fish. On the far left, you see a tiny Peter literally pulling a coin out of a fish's mouth. On the right, Peter smugly pays the collector. Why it changed the world. Before the Brancacci Chapel, medieval art was flat, symbolic, and floating in gold space. Masaccio brought his own subjects down to earth. Masaccio brought a new style. He brought realism and tension and emotion to the space. When you stand in the chapel, you'll notice how the shadows of the painted figure all fall away from the chapel's actual window. Masaccio used the room's real light source to determine the shadows in his paintings, in situ, making the characters look three-dimensional, heavy, and physically present in the room. He also used a single-point linear perspective, meaning the buildings and landscapes fade realistically into the background. It was so revolutionary that, this is my favorite part, that a young Michelangelo used to hang out there, sketching the walls to figure out how Masaccio did it. In fact, Michelangelo got his famous broken nose right here in this chapel after getting into a fight with a rival student who mocked his drawings. My mind is blown. With its vivid blues, striking terracotta reds, and intense human emotions, the Brancacci Chapel isn't just a historic site, it is the exact birthplace of the modern visual world. You have to visit the Brancacci Chapel when you get to Florence. So many people miss it, and it's sad. It is the Sistine Chapel of Florence. There are some amazing tour options for you to enjoy Brancacci Chapel at a deeper level if you would like to have a tour. You can find them on armchairitaly.com. I do want to point out, access to the chapel is via a side door to the right of the church's facade, rather than through the main doors of the church. And don't let the austere, unfinished facade of Santa Maria del Carmen fool you. Many jewels in Italy are hidden behind very plain front doors. And just like a scarpetta, we're at the end of our episode. Thank you for hanging out with me on the Armchair Italy podcast. Keep dreaming of the Dolomites, keep your pasta al dente, and remember, you don't need a passport to live the sweet life. You just need to visit armchairitaly.com.